Good morning, Philippines, and good morning, world. This is Mayhan Lim reporting for PB Patrol. Today, all the way from the city of Golden Friendship, Cagayan de Oro City.
Rise and shine, Philippines and team abroad. This is PB Esteban of PB Patrol from the Bibingka capital of the Philippines, Campana, Rizal.
We're here to bring you the latest news in the country.
That's right. For today's feature, we bring you on a trending topic all over social media, garnering a number of 500,000 tweets as of this morning.
Wow, that's indeed a lot. But Phoebe, what is this issue all about?
It was reportedly about an architect and a client that had a misunderstanding. The conflict was between BJF Architects and a social media personality, Soriano, where the latter plans to sue BJF Architects for breach of contract. Apparently, the issue reached social media as Soriano posted on her Facebook and Twitter accounts. Her statements on the said issue, which reflects her disappointments about architect Bonalos' unprofessionalism and demands an explanation and apology soon. She writes on her post, at Bulletena, ghosted by my architect. I can't believe this is happening. After paying the 10 million down payment for a 5-story row house with Accessoria project in Dapitan, he suddenly disappeared. Very unprofessional. So disappointed. I can't believe an architect is capable of initiating a scam. See in court at A.R. Bonalos. She claims that she was very disappointed with architect Bonalos' unprofessionalism and poor handling of this matter, and plans to sue him for breach of contract. BJF Architect CEO Rino Bonalos reacted and responded in social media regarding this issue, saying, I was disappointed because my side was not taken into consideration. See you in court. Until now, netizens are currently debating whether who between the two is on the right side of this agreement.
Wow, that's a very intense issue, and our netizens are actually taking sides on who they think is right.
Correct, Mehan. Now, before we proceed, let us read what the netizens are currently saying about this issue.
From user at Aaron Yeager. I will keep moving forward. I hope you too, A.R. Bolanos and at Bulatena. From user at Bebe Chichi. The audacity of this Rino Bolanos to disappear without informing his client. Sobrang unprofessional. Grabe. We have another opinion from Papa Jong Lee. So unprofessional naman ng architect na yon. Imagine ghosting your client without a proper reason. Rino Bolanos, whoever you are, hashtag cancelled, hashtag I will have order. Another tweet from user at Arlene Panlipunan. That's why we shouldn't be quick to judge and easily write, especially in this cancel culture. When we still haven't heard the other side, let's make the world a better place. Be kind to one another. Lastly, we have a tweet from Ani Batumbakal. Let's normalize social media detoxing. We don't owe anyone any explanation. Oh well, Phoebe, it seems like our netizens are divided on who to support.
Oh wait, looks like we have a call from our field reporter. It seems like she's currently with Ms. Soriano and architect Bonalos. Let's hear it from them.
Take it away, reporter Alex.
Good day to all. I'm here with social media personality Tinsa Soriano and architect Bonalos. As mentioned a while ago, who are in fact trending in social media. Ma'am, can you state your argument regarding the issue trending recently?
I stand by what I said. He is so unprofessional. Imagine ghosting your client in the middle of a contract agreement. I am so disappointed. Are you really an architect? As far as I'm concerned, architects are not supposed to behave like this, Mr. Bonalos. Bring me back my money!
Apologies, Madam Soriano. It's just that I'm currently facing mental health problems, and I deem this as a more important issue than your argument. This personal matter calls for utmost importance and attention, and I'm sorry if you deemed it unprofessional. I tried reaching out to you, but you didn't answer. So is it my fault here? Also, you ruined my name in social media. Do you think that's fair?
Ms. Soriano, are you still willing to push the case against Sir Bonalos? Are you both aware that your issue is actually trending in social media and is currently a national concern?
Yes, I am fully aware of what is happening. And if you may ask, I'm planning to sue Madam Soriano for defamation. Posting about issues like this without the other party's consent is unacceptable. Yes, I admit that there's a fault on my part, but I have already explained and reached out to her.
Ano? What do you mean? I haven't even received a single text message from you. Kapal naman ng mukha mo.
Well, that's it from here, PB and Mayhan. It seems that this issue is yet to be resolved. For truth and accuracy, reporting Alex Campana for PB Patrol.
Now that this issue is raised, netizens brought up the relevance of social contract theory with the ongoing situation in between the two sides. One netizen at Sino Vaxila tweeted, "This issue reminds me of social contract theory we discussed in ethics class in college." But what really is this social contract theory? And how does this influence the netizens in line with the current situation?
Social contract theory revolves around the notion that all humans are equal and have no right over a fellow human being without mutual consent.
Basically, it deals with freedom and equality on a social basis. It is an important proposition of the natural rights of man, more so that this is the basis of current principles of democracy and human rights. Now, where and how did this social contract theory start?
For us to know, we have invited the founders themselves in the show.
What? Really? What happened?
Well, actually, we used a time machine to contact them, just to hopefully resolve this issue.
Oh wow! Well, then let's see what they have to say. First off, we have Mr. Socrates, coming all the way from Greece, from the year 4th century BC. Good day, Mr. Socrates.
Hello, Miss PB. Pleasure to see you today. Or should I say, from the future?
Well, basically for us, you're from the past, but yes, likewise. Now, let me ask you, what is this social contract theory and how did you even come up with that?
Social contract theory is about the relationship between the citizens and the law. But this is not coerced. People can choose whatever they want. They want to leave? Then go. They want to stay? Then stay. We have an area called the Law of Athens, which made my entire way of life possible. Why so? Because these laws gave you an obligation to obey the rules. You know, I'm in prison right now, and tomorrow is the day of my death penalty. And you know what's funny? They gave me permission to leave Athens and set me free. But I chose to stay.
Why so, sir?
Simple because staying implies an agreement to abide by the laws and accept the punishments that they administer. Athens gave me a flourishing life that all depends upon the existing legal system. Therefore, I must keep to this agreement and obey the laws. In this case, by staying and accepting my death penalty.
I am very sorry to hear that, sir. But still, thank you for answering our call and questions. Rest in peace, Sir Socrates. That is a very interesting and sad story of Mr. Socrates. So anyway, now that Mr. Socrates explained to us how social contract theory works, I am slowly getting it. He really respects the law of Athens and still chose to stay, although he has a free will to get out of that prison.
Yes, I truly admire him. And now as part of the modern social contract philosophers, where all of them believe that social contract theory revolves around the notion that all humans are equal and have no right over a fellow human being without mutual consent, we have Mr. Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau for further explanations about their own approaches in this theory.
Good morning, Sir Thomas Hobbes. How's your day?
Good morning, Miss PB. I'm good.
Let's make this interview straight to the point. What is your idea about the concept of social contract theory? Like, what are your perspectives about this?
Good question, Miss PB. Before I explain about my concept of the social contract theory, let me start with a theory that I created called the state of nature, where naturally man is selfish, is equal to one another, has limited resources, and does not naturally cooperate with one another. Assuming that these men don't want to die early, as the state of nature is brutal to man. They create a solution by recognizing the laws of nature and creating a civil society.
Could you please further explain about this state of nature, Sir Hobbs?
Okay, Miss Mahan, you should remember that the state of nature would be that man is willing to pursue peace when other men want to pursue it as well, whilst retaining the idea that man is willing to pursue war when others don't pursue peace. Combining man's reason and rationality, man creates a social contract that will give them better lives than a life lived in the state of nature. They must both agree to live together under common laws and create an enforcement mechanism. Someone or an assembly of persons with the authority and power to enforce for the social contract and the laws that constitute it.
So what Mr. Hobbs said, the social contract gives people a chance to live better than living a life through a state of nature. Very well said, Mr. Hobbs. I clearly understand your point about the idea of social contract to the state of a nature of a man.
I agree with you, Phoebe. How about you, Sir John? What makes you different from Sir Thomas?
Good day, Miss Mahan. Mr. Hobbs has a great point when it comes to the idea of social contract theory, but since Mr. Hobbs believes that the people's choice is either to abide by the terms of the contract or return to the state of nature, we have different views about that. Based on my philosophical and biblical views, I believe that God gave Adam natural rights and thus gave these natural rights to every human being.
Well, sir, what are those natural rights?
Well, you see, we have three natural rights: life, liberty, and property. These are the things naturally given to us by God. During my time in the late 16th century, there was this thing called two treaties of government. It's a defense of constitutionalism. So these treaties means people get involved in a social contract in order to preserve what they can of their natural rights, which is it's the government's job to protect these natural rights because people are having a difficult time to defend these rights since anybody could just take away this easily from you. And in our civil society, people have no right to punish the other individuals for violating their rights. Another thing, this government can be limited by law, and if these rights cannot be preserved by the government, then the citizens have a right of revolution, which they have the right to overthrow the government. So to answer your question, Mr. Hobbes believes people need government to protect them from themselves, but I believe they need government to protect their natural rights. When it comes to sovereignty, he chose the concept of a monarch or absolute ruler. And on the other hand, I chose the government for the people because the government's power is only limited and they have the right for revolution. Therefore, I conclude that we have learned through experience and we are shaped through experiences.
Thank you very much, Mr. Locke, for explaining to us your perspectives about this ethical theory. Hearing explanations from Mr. Locke and Mr. Hobbes is very enlightening. And now we have our last speaker, Mr. Rousseau. Good morning, sir. How about you? What is your concept of social contract theory?
A pleasant morning, Miss PB. My view on social contract theory is that we are naturally virtuous. Humans are compassionate and do not desire to harm each other. I believe nowadays you termed it as proto-socialist and radical democracy. You see, freedom, as we call it, is the triumph of reason over instinct. Now the government's role in our society is to help establish social contracts that presents advantages over the state of nature. The government has the right to exist and govern by the consent of the governed. The government should express the natural will of the governed, making the society as democratic as possible. The government should act according to the general will, which should act according to principles of democracy. Laws are created upon this general will of the people, these set of rules that are acceptable to the general public. In a well-governed state, there are few punishments, not because there are many pardons, but because criminals are rare. It is when a state is in decay that the multitude of crimes is a guarantee of impunity. This government can be in the form of monarchy, democratic, or aristocracy. But as long as it could uphold the general will of its governed individuals, then it is effective. Although I do believe that monarchy is by far the best, especially in times of crisis.
Thank you very much for the wondrous explanations about your perspectives in social contract theory, Mr. Holmes, Mr. Locke, and Mr. Rousseau. Thank you again for giving us your time, and I hope we could talk to you again in the future.
Now, we have an idea of what really social contract theory is, thanks to the philosophers themselves who explain their concepts of the said topic.
With that being said, we'll be right back after this short break.
make your wishes come true.
Lazada birthday sale on March 27!
This has been PB Patrol. Back at it again for more news.
Previously, we had the pleasure of interviewing these philosophers who explained to us what social contract theory is.
This ethical theory can be applied explicitly and implicitly.
When we say explicit social contract, these are our laws and constitutions, and implicit social contracts, on the other hand, can be as casual as being rules in a classroom context. But both of these are essential components to create a harmonious society.
Now that PB already explained the differences between these two, we have our field reporter to discuss the applications of social contract theory in our society today.
Reporter Cheska has the news.
And now, one of the variations of the Republic of the Philippines Constitution would be applied to social contract theory, which is the 1987 Philippine Constitution. The view that a person's moral and political obligations are dependent upon a contract or agreement among them. To form the society in which we live in is known as the social contract theory, as actualized in 1987 Philippine Constitution, setting the boundaries of the three branches of government: executive, legislative, and judiciary. For truth and accuracy, reporting Cheska Abad for PB Patrol.
A divorce happens after a husband and wife decide not to live together anymore and that they no longer want to be married to each other. They agree to sign legal papers that makes them each single again and allow them to marry other people if they want to. And this kind of situation is not normal in a Philippine setup. Here's reporter Alex Campana for the news.
There has been laws against domestic abuse like RA 9262 or Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. However, according to a survey done by the Philippine Statistics Committee back in 2017, about 26% or 1 in 4 married women experienced physical, emotional, or sexual violence from their spouses. It took 11 years for the divorce bill to be approved by the House Committee on Population and Family Relations in 2020, an indication that the government heard the call of its citizens to preserve their natural rights for life and liberty. For truth and accuracy, reporting Alex Campana for PB Patrol.
Thank you, reporter Alex Campana.
Stay tuned, viewers. We will be right back after the short break.
Shopee, Shopee, salamat sa Shopee. Tap, add to cart, baby. My Visa deals, cashback, free shipping, mega sale sa Shopee. Shopee 3-3 mega shopping sale. Shop na!
Welcome back. This is
PB Patrol. Now, let's go back to the Bardagulan of the month.
Hello? Yes? I like it. Yeah. Okay, breaking news. We just got the news that architect Bonalos and Madam Soriano already came to an agreement to resolve the issue. According to our source, Ms. Soriano and architect Bonalos decided it would be best for both of them to be mature enough to end this ongoing conflict. Both parties have admitted their faults and agreed to compensate for the damages that has been caused by the issue.
Now, let us read again the updated tweets from the netizens. From user @ethicfail, may this issue be a lesson to us na hindi dapat mag-judge agad without even knowing the context. Taking sides is a double-edged sword. Let's think before we tweet. From @Boltis5, it's heartwarming to know that both @AR Bolanos and @Bulatena made up, normalize being mature enough to resolve conflicts.
Wow, we're getting a lot of good tweets from our netizens. Seems that they are also chilling. Looks like everything is okay. Good. Now, how is social contract theory reflected in this situation, Mehan?
Social contract theory was applied in this issue through the architect-owner contract agreement. In this example, the agreement between Ms. Soriano and architect Bonalos influenced how the netizens thought. Their idea of right and wrong was based on the conflict and agreement that happened between the two parties, which projects the kind of concept social contract theory reflects in society. We all live together in accordance with an agreement that establishes moral and political rules of behavior. This allows us humans to live morally by our own choices. With that, this has been Mayhel Lim, all the way from the city of Golden Friendship, Cagayan de Oro City.
And PB Esteban from the big theater capital of the Philippines, Caesar Rizal. And this is TV Patrol.